Hello and welcome to MorningFile. I'm your host, Emma McCarty, and today I am joined with Kian, Kousha, and Hugo from McMaster Synthetic Biology Research Team. So why don't we just start? You guys can both introduce yourselves, tell me a little bit about the team.
Thanks for having us, Emma. So my name is Kian, and I'm here today with Hugo, and we are both co-presidents at McMaster's Synthetic Biology Research Team, or short for McMaster SynBio. Our team is made up of undergraduate students. We have 3 sub-teams of dry lab, wet lab, and human practices. And overall, our goal is to participate in national or international synthetic biology competitions. Now, for this year, and the reason why we are here is because for the 2021 year, we are participating in the iGEM competition, which is the world's largest synthetic biology competition. It has about 300 teams and more than 6,000 participants. Now I'm going to give the floor to Hugo so he can tell you more about iGEM.
Yeah, so the iGEM competition stands for the International Genetically Engineered Machine Competition. It is the largest synthetic biology competition and conference in the world, and each year there are about 300 teams from all over the world to participate. And really the core of iGEM is to build these biological systems that can be applied in a real world settings to solve some of these problems. And it's a really interesting and very interdisciplinary area of research.
Yeah, so your team has obviously been working on a project. What is it?
Yeah, so this year we are hoping to genetic engineer these probiotic bacteria to treat patients with inflammatory bowel disease. So inflammatory bowel disease is a group of immune-related disease characterized by the chronic inflammation in the gastrointestinal tract that can lead to severe tissue damages and nutritional deficiencies. And there's a group of pathogenic bacteria called adhesive invasive E. coli that are implicated in the pathogenesis of IBD, and we're hoping to engineer some of these probiotic or good bacteria to target those pathogenic bacteria so that we can treat the root cause of this disease.
Yeah, so how did your team come up with this topic and land on this decision?
Yeah, so actually using synthetic biology method to engineer bacteria to treat IBD is a very intuitive solution, and many other scientific studies or past iGEM teams have explored this method. However, most of the studies they showed up very promising in preclinical studies, so they work on these mice or other animal models, but when it gets translated to the patients to a clinical settings, they just don't work as well. So we're hoping to kind of summarize and critically examine some of these past trials and see what can be done better, and so that we can improve on these existing knowledge and combine them to create a clinically relevant solution for patients with IBD.
Yeah, that's amazing. So one aspect of your project I know is awareness and spreading awareness of inflammatory bowel disease. Why is it so important to spread awareness?
I guess what is making us just as human beings different these days than what we were, let's say, decades ago is the level of knowledge that we have reached as a society. The level of knowledge which ultimately kind of leads us to a sense of understanding and empathy for each other. At least that's the end goal. And IBD is not very different from that, because IBD patients are under a constant feeling of pain or physical discomfort. And they have to always think about how their bodies is going to react to the smallest intake of a regular food, and many more issues. And the issue is there is no quote unquote cure for IBD. There are some medications to manage the symptoms, but for young individuals who are struggling with IBD, the cost of these medications is challenging, especially if they're no longer supported by family insurance or medical plans. But even with insurance, there are some statistics that show that IBD patients still pay two times more out of pocket. And what makes this challenging is that some IBD patients also have issues with finding employment because of their condition. So overall, raising awareness is important so we can gain an understanding for IBD patients and move towards empathy.
Yeah, so diving into that a little bit more, your team actually wrote an article with the Hamilton Spectator about breaking the stigma of IBD. Why is it so vital that we break the stigma?
Yeah, we should also give a shout out to the people at Hamilton Spectator for being so kind to us and giving us a platform to talk about IBD. And indeed, it's very important and necessary, I can say, to break the stigma surrounding IBD, since many research projects and statistics have indicated low quality of life for IBD patients, especially youth. And this issue gets exacerbated when it affects education for youth with IBD. And it has been shown that people with IBD miss many months of the school year. Now, something else that's important is the relationship between students and their teachers. And another research project shows that 50% of students with IBD feel that their teachers are unsympathetic. That is not really the direction that we want to go towards. And we know that when a child feels that way towards their teacher, it would affect them going to school. They would develop a sense of detachment from school. It would affect their social life and many more effects. And many of these issues that I mentioned ultimately contribute to the level of stress and anxiety that they face. So everything that I mentioned kind of shows us that it's definitely necessary to take action as soon as possible, especially as a society, teachers, and most importantly, policymakers.
Yeah, what would be maybe your number one tip or suggestion to taking action? What should people do?
My number one tip would be to be open to the idea of being educated, because at the end of the day, that's what matters, I believe. I know there are lots and lots of issues that are going on around us that for sure require our attention, issues that require that stigma to be broken as well. But as long as we're all open to being educated, as long as we are open to changing what we knew or thinking that we knew something, we will move towards the right direction. Now, it will be our job as activists to raise awareness about issues and provide you with resources to make the right decision and be educated. Now, with regards to IBD, our team is trying to be that educator. So we are very active on our social media, Instagram, Facebook. I can plug it on at McMaster SynBio. You can check that out to learn about IBD, our research, and some of our upcoming events. Something that we are very excited about is an upcoming webinar in which we are having an interview with Dr. Brian Coombs from McMaster, and also a professor doing IBD research from University of Greece, which is going to be a collaboration between our university and University of Thessaly in Greece. So you should definitely check that out.
That was Kian, Kousha, and Hugo Jan, the team leaders of McMaster Synthetic Biology Research Team. To learn more about their project and follow them on their journey to the iGEM conference, you can follow them on any of their social medias linked below. As always, for more MorningFile content, you can visit cfmu.ca/videos. And if you like this type of content, make sure to like this video and subscribe.